Welcome back. Welcome back, my free birds. Welcome to Seen and Supported, where voices are heard and support is real. Today, I want to speak directly to my fellow caregivers. Caregiving is love in action, but it can also feel like losing yourself. In this episode, we're going to talk about carrying that weight and how to begin finding yourself again in the middle of it all. What I know is that there is a hidden weight of caregiving that no one really talks about. And had I had that, um, maybe things would have been a little different. Waking up in the middle of the night because you heard a cough or a shuffle in the hallway, and your body won't let you rest until you know that they are okay. It's the way your nervous system stays on 24/7. You become hyper aware, hyper responsible, hyper everything. And in the middle of that, the invisibility creeps in. People would ask, "Oh, Shellie, how's your mom doing?" And I'd smile and give them the update. But the real question I longed to hear was, "How are you doing, Shellie?" Not in a casual passing, in a grocery store kind of way. I mean, really ask, sit with me, see me. And when someone did ask, I didn't always know what to say or to answer. But the truth is, it was complicated, but I still wanted someone to ask, to at least see that I needed someone to ask. I was tired of being tired. And some days I was bitter, some days I was heartbroken, and some days I felt guilty for even feeling those things. So I'd say, I'm fine, because that's what's easier. That's what's expected. But inside, I was unraveling. Maybe you have felt that way too. And so I want to just take a deeper look and just talk about the need to being strong, the need to being honest, and between telling the truth and holding it all together. Caregiving can be lonely, not because you're physically alone, and in my case, I'm an only child, but because your experience feels unseen. The emotional labor, the constant vigilance, the weight of being responsible for someone else's life, it's real and it's heavy. But naming it doesn't make you weak. Mm-mm. It makes you human. And that's what I want this space to hold. Truth today. Raw, gentle, unapologetic truth. Be- Well, that's a note to say that it does matter. We are being intentional, and even the microphone believes it. But you don't have to carry it in silence. And so that's what I want to share here. It's what I've learned. Caregiving has taught me the most tender, unrelenting way of saying, I'm not okay. And discipline isn't about just routines or schedule. It's not the kind of discipline that people usually think of. You wake up at 5 a.m., do the thing, push through. No, caregiving is a 24/7 thing. Discipline is about staying with yourself, staying present. It's learning to show up even when you're exhausted, not out of duty, but out of deep love and commitment. Yeah, it's choosing over and over and over again to return to yourself, to take the breath, hmm, to drink the water, to soften when you want to harden. Some days discipline looked like walking outside for 5 minutes just to remember what the sky looked like and what the breeze felt like. Some days it was writing one honest sentence in my journal when the weight of silence felt truly unbearable. Yeah. Other days it was saying, no, I can't do that today. Even when everything in me wanted to say yes. hmm Just to avoid disappointing someone. Discipline in this process is quiet. It's sacred. It's what keeps you from disappearing into the care of everyone else. I often think of it as a kind of anchor. When the storm rolls in, and it will roll in, and you feel like the waves of responsibility and exhaustion are going to take you under, discipline becomes that steady tether that says, breathe, Shellie, come back home to yourself because you are still here. You haven't been lost. And even when everything around you is moving so fast, appointments, emotions, expectations, this kind of discipline asks you to move slow, to move gentle, to remember you matter. You absolutely matter too. Not just as a caregiver, as a human, as a woman for me, as a soul. So if no one has told you lately, let me say it again. Your discipline in the quiet, faithful returning to yourself storm is not missed. It's not small. It's your power, and it's what will hold you when everything else feels unsteady. You know, there's strength in letting go. There's something that happens quietly over time when you're caring and caregiving. You stop being seen as you. You become the caregiver, the one who manages the meds, the one who tracks the appointments, the one who shows up every single day and time on time. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, your name, your essence, your desires, they start to kind of just take a back seat to the background. And I remember one afternoon standing in the hallway trying to remember the last time that I did something just because I wanted to do it, not because it was helpful, not because it was just what was needed, just something for Shellie. And I couldn't. I truly couldn't recall the last time I had even asked myself, what do I need? I was so engulfed. And that moment broke me a little bit because I realized how easy it was to disappear in this role. Caregiving can blur your identity. It can make you forget that before you were the one doing everything for everyone else, you were someone else. You know, caregiving isn't just for a sick parent or a sick child or a loved one or just going into work and taking care of working in the medical field, it is being a mother, being a husband, being a father, being a wife, being a worker. When you are doing something that involves giving your heart, that's caregiving. Being compassionate is caregiving. But you have to remember you. You have to remember you were someone. You had a dream, preferences, a laugh that didn't come from exhaustion, a voice that wasn't always used to advocate for someone else. And in those moments of losing yourself, yeah, the only thing, the only thing that kept me anchored was my discipline. But not the kind we usually talk about. Discipline for me became a lifeline. Not discipline like hustling harder, but gentle days and choosing myself, choosing that I am still here. Me, I'm still here. It's a part of my journey, but not the whole story. Sometimes discipline looked like journaling. I'm still here. Letting myself cry in the car without judgment. Sometimes it was whispering to myself, you are more than this role. You are more than the doing. And that is the truth. I want to leave you with this today. Caregiving is what you do, okay? It's not all of who you are. You are still you. You may be tired. You may be stretched thin, but your soul is not gone. It's just it's just been waiting for you to return back towards itself, even gently. You know, in my moments of realization where, I began to reclaim myself again, I had went to the hairdresser and I hadn't had my hair done at this point, probably about a year and a half, because we had been through some very tough times, and I truly had engulfed myself in the healing in my caregiving experience for my loved one. And I took the scarf off and my hat, and I sat in my hairdresser's chair, and I looked in the mirror, and she looked at me, and my entire head had turned completely gray. It had turned completely gray. It was broken. It was brittle. It was so fragile. And I hadn't shared what I had been experiencing with her. But as soon as I did that, she looked at me with tears in her eyes and she said, Shellie, what have you been going through? And I shared with her. But in that moment, I realized that I was now on the journey of finding myself again, because I absolutely had been moving where I had just been moving in this space of not about me. So that's when it started for me, sitting in my hairdresser's chair. When was your moment, or do you have a moment? Has that moment happened? Has it arrived? Where you have chosen you. I invite you to take a deep breath with me. Inhale, exhale, and think about your moment. If it hasn't already happened, when will you like for it to begin? If you would just, wherever you're seated at, if you're driving, don't do this. I don't need you closing your eyes on the road, but take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale. You place your hand on your heart and repeat after me. I am seen. I am valued. I am supported. And believe it, because you are. You are. And before anyone else can tell you, you have to believe it. This is Seen and Supported with Shellie Stark. Conversations that heal, inspire, and remind you that you are never alone. I want to thank you for being here during this episode. It means so much to me that you've chosen to be here, to spend this time together with me, remembering who you are. You are seen, you are valued, and you are supported, my free birds. And in honoring an amazing caregiver's heart, Dr. James Comer, who said it so eloquently, no significant learning occurs without a significant relationship. And to that I say, having a relationship with yourself is the foundation to how you will show up with others. You can't pour into anyone's cup, and you definitely can't pour into it and your cup is empty. If today's message resonated with you, please share it. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. All right, my free birds. This is Seen and Supported with Shellie Stark, where you know conversations that heal, inspire, and remind you that you are never alone. I'll be back next week with more stories and encouragement. But until then, take a deep breath. Know that you are not alone. And you carry this truth with you You are seen, you are supported right here, and your light is stronger than any storm. I love you, my free birds. Until next time.